The shadows descend. The stars had always been a beacon of hope for humanity. For generations, people gazed upward, dreaming of what might exist beyond their atmospheric bubble. Scientists, poets, and dreamers alike imagined meeting alien civilizations, exchanging knowledge, and expanding humanity's understanding of the universe. But as the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Earth in 2157 was a planet finally finding its balance. After centuries of conflict, climate struggles, and societal upheaval, humanity had reached a tentative peace. The United Earth government had successfully united most nations under a common cause: exploration. Space stations orbited the planet, the moon hosted permanent settlements, and Mars was in the early stages of terraforming. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the UES Horizon, Earth's most advanced space station. At 42, she had spent most of her life in service to Earth's Space Defense Force, though there had been little to defend against beyond space debris and the occasional solar flare. Her dark hair showed touches of gray at the temples, and her eyes carried the weight of someone who had prepared for a war that never came. "Commander, you should see this." Lieutenant Chen's voice broke through her thoughts as he approached with a tablet. Elena took the device, studying the readings. A strange signal, just beyond Neptune's orbit, steadily pulsing in a pattern too regular to be natural. "How long has it been transmitting?" "We first detected it 3 days ago, but it was so faint we thought it was instrument error. It's been growing stronger." Elena handed the tablet back. "Monitor it. If it changes in any way, I want to know immediately." The signal did change. Within 24 hours, it wasn't just stronger, it was everywhere, broadcasting across every frequency, impossible to block. Earth's communication systems began experiencing interference, and anxiety spread through the population as news agencies reported on the strange phenomenon. 3 days later, they arrived. The first ship appeared just beyond the moon's orbit, a massive obsidian structure that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. It was like nothing humanity had ever designed or imagined, organic yet mechanical, with surfaces that rippled and moved as if alive. Before Earth's governments could form a response, more ships appeared, dozens of them, varying in size but identical in their otherworldly, threatening presence. In the UEG Emergency Council chamber in Geneva, Elena stood before the assembled world leaders, her uniform crisp despite having been awake for 72 hours straight. "They've made no attempt at communication since arriving," she explained. "Our transmissions go unanswered. When we sent unmanned probes to investigate, they were absorbed into the ship's hulls." President Okafor of the UEG leaned forward. "Absorbed? What does that mean exactly?" The probes approached the surface of the vessels, and the hull seemed to liquefy around them. Then they were gone. No destruction, no explosion, just gone. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "What are our defensive capabilities?" asked the Chinese representative. Elena's expression remained professional, but everyone could sense her frustration. "Limited. The Space Defense Force was built primarily for minor threats and research. We have orbital defense platforms with kinetic weapons and lasers, but against technology that can absorb solid matter." She left the conclusion unsaid. "So we do nothing. Wait for them to make the first move." The Russian delegate's voice was sharp with fear. "I've positioned our forces strategically, but I recommend against any aggressive action. We don't know their capabilities or intentions." As if in response to her words, every screen in the room flashed to life simultaneously. The feed showed a live image from space, one of the alien ships moving closer to Earth, positioning itself above North America. Then it began. A beam of intense purple light shot from the ship toward the surface. When it touched down somewhere in the Canadian wilderness, there was no explosion, no fire, just a perfect circle of nothing. As if that section of Earth had been erased from existence. Alarms blared throughout the council chamber. reports flooded in of similar attacks occurring globally. Rio de Janeiro, Shanghai, Cairo, Sydney, all suffering the same fate. Perfect circles of emptiness, ranging from 1 to 10 kilometers in diameter. "This is a demonstration," Elena stated, her voice somehow remaining calm. "They're showing us what they can do before they begin serious destruction." "How can you know that?" demanded the EU representative. "Because if they wanted to destroy us completely, they could have fired on major population centers. Instead, they chose strategic but relatively uninhabited locations. This is a message." As humanity reeled from the first attack, something unexpected happened. A new ship appeared, different from the others, sleeker, with a silvery blue sheen. It positioned itself between Earth and the invading fleet. Communication systems worldwide suddenly cleared of interference, and a message appeared on every connected device on the planet. "To the governing authorities of Earth, the Galactic Council acknowledges your current crisis. Be advised that intervention in conflicts of non-member species is against Council protocol. However, we are monitoring the situation. The attacking force is unknown to us and represents a potential threat to galactic stability. We recommend immediate planetary evacuation procedures." President Okafor looked at Elena. "Evacuation? To where? We barely have the capacity to move people between continents, let alone off-planet." Elena was studying the message carefully. "That's not what interests me. This Galactic Council claims the attackers are unknown to them. If there's an established interstellar governing body, and they don't recognize these invaders, it means we're dealing with outlaws or something new entirely," finished the Japanese delegate. "Exactly. And they're concerned enough to send a ship, despite their non-intervention protocol." Elena pointed to the data coming in about the Council ship. "That vessel is observing, not just us, but the invaders. They're gathering intelligence." A second wave of attacks came 12 hours later. This time, the targets were military installations. Earth's most sophisticated defense systems wiped away in an instant. Space defense platforms vanished. The moon colony's defensive grid went dark. In the chaos of the ongoing assault, Elena noticed something that others missed. The destruction, while overwhelming, followed a pattern. The aliens were systematically eliminating humanity's technological defenses, but avoiding major population centers and infrastructure related to agriculture and water purification. "They don't want to destroy us," she realized. "They want our planet intact." At the Antarctic Research Command, one of the few military installations not yet targeted, Elena assembled a team of Earth's brightest scientists and tacticians. While world governments attempted and failed to establish communication with the invaders, Elena focused on understanding their technology. Dr. Maya Williams, Earth's leading quantum physicist, was reviewing data from the attacks when she noticed an anomaly. The weapon signatures don't match any known physical principle. It's not disintegration or vaporization. It's almost as if they're folding space. Elena leaned over her shoulder. "Meaning?" "They're creating localized dimensional rifts, removing sections of our reality and replacing them with nothing, or something we can't perceive." Another scientist, Dr. Katsuo Tanaka, called from across the room. "Commander, I've been analyzing the whole composition of those ships based on light refraction patterns. There's something unusual about how they interact with our electromagnetic spectrum." Elena moved to his station. "Show me." "Here, when we direct certain frequencies at their hulls, there's a momentary fluctuation. It's subtle, but their absorption rate isn't perfect, specifically in the extremely low frequency range." Elena stared at the readings, a plan beginning to form. Earth had one advantage: it was their home. They knew its properties better than any invader could. And Earth had a unique electromagnetic field, one that humans had evolved alongside for millennia. "What if," she said slowly, "we could use Earth itself as a weapon?" As the team worked feverishly to develop Elena's idea, the Galactic Council ship remained in position, observing. Occasionally, It would maneuver to avoid the invaders, but it made no aggressive moves. Then 3 days into the invasion, it transmitted again. To Earth authorities. The Council has identified the invading species as the Void Collective, a previously unknown entity from unexplored regions. Their technology suggests capabilities beyond current Council understanding. We are dispatching additional observation vessels. Reiterate recommendation for evacuation of essential personnel and cultural artifacts. Elena read between the lines. The mighty Galactic Council, apparently the governing body of multiple star systems, was afraid. Whatever these Void Collective invaders were, they possessed technology that surpassed known galactic standards. And they had chosen Earth as their target. But why? What made Earth special? The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Williams, working through the night, burst into Elena's makeshift office just before dawn. "Commander, I know what they want," she said breathlessly, placing a tablet on the desk. "It's not the planet itself, it's what's beneath us." On the screen was an analysis of Earth's core composition compared to other planets in known systems. Earth has an unusually active magnetic core for a planet our size, combined with rare elemental compositions. But more importantly, there's something else here, a material we've always just cataloged as background radiation. We call it ambient zero-point energy. It's everywhere on Earth, so commonplace we barely study it. Elena looked up. And, according to these readings from the Council transmission, this energy doesn't exist anywhere else they've explored. Not in these concentrations. Earth is literally saturated with it. In our atmosphere, our water, our living tissue. "Are you saying we're sitting on some kind of cosmic gold mine?" Elena asked. Dr. Williams nodded. "Exactly. And based on how the Void Collective's technology operates, they need this energy to power their dimensional weapons. They're not here to destroy us. They are here to harvest us." Elena stood, staring at the screens showing the alien fleet positioning for their next attack. "Then we need to make ourselves indigestible." The plan was audacious, perhaps suicidal, but it was all they had. If Dr. Tanaka was right about the electromagnetic vulnerability, and Dr. Williams was correct about the energy the invaders sought, there might be a way to turn Earth's unique properties against the attackers. As Elena finalized the details, a new message arrived from the Galactic Council. To Earth authorities. The Council has concluded emergency deliberations. The Void Collective represents an extinction-level threat to all sapient life, if allowed to harness zero-point concentrations present in your system. Council non-intervention protocols are hereby suspended. Elena read the message twice, then looked up at her team with grim determination. "It seems we've got the galaxy's attention. Now let's show them what humans do when backed into a corner." Humanity rises. In the hidden command center beneath Antarctica, Commander Elena Reyes stood before a holographic display of Earth. Red markers indicated areas affected by the Void Collective's dimensional weapons. Nearly 30% of the planet's military installations have been wiped from existence. But civilian casualties remain surprisingly low. "They're being careful not to damage what they came for," Dr. Williams said, echoing Elena's earlier conclusion. "If they destroy too much of the planet, they risk diminishing the zero-point energy concentration." Elena nodded. "Which gives us time, but not much." She expanded a section of the display, showing the strange silvery blue ship of the Galactic Council. "And I'm not counting on our new galactic friends for salvation." The Council's message about suspending non-intervention protocols had been followed by silence. Their ship remained in position, occasionally joined by smaller vessels that appeared through what looked like localized wormholes, but no direct assistance had materialized. "Commander," Lieutenant Chen called from his station. "You should see this." On the screen, a live feed showed the Council ship emitting a strange pulse of energy toward one of the Void Collective vessels. The alien ship seemed to ripple, parts of its surface becoming temporarily transparent, revealing glimpses of its interior, organic machinery, and swirling dark matter that defied human understanding. "They're scanning them," Dr. Tanaka observed. gathering intelligence, just as we suspected. But not helping, Elena said flatly. Whatever this council is, they're treating this as a research opportunity first, a threat second. She turned to address the assembled team. We proceed as planned. Operation Earth Pulse initiates in 6 hours. The plan was both elegant and desperate. Earth's magnetic field was unique, a product of its iron core, specific rotation, and the mysterious zero-point energy permeating the planet. Dr. Williams and Dr. Tanaka had theorized that if they could amplify this field using the planet's existing geomagnetic network, they might be able to disrupt the Void Collective's dimensional technology. To achieve this, they needed to activate a synchronized global network of electromagnetic pulse generators positioned at strategic points along Earth's ley lines, natural pathways where geomagnetic energy concentrated. Many of these locations coincided with ancient monuments and structures, places humans had instinctively recognized as special long before they understood the science behind them. It's almost poetic, Dr. Williams had commented during planning. Humanity's oldest sacred sites might be what saves us from our most advanced threat. The challenge was activation. Many of the necessary sites were in areas now under Void Collective observation or control. Elite teams of soldiers and scientists were dispatched worldwide, racing against time to reach these locations and install the specialized equipment designed by Dr. Tanaka. Elena herself would coordinate from Antarctica, where they had built the master control system into the ice itself, using the frozen continent as a giant conductor. As the teams deployed, an unexpected transmission came through, not from the Galactic Council, but from the Void Collective itself. For the first time since their arrival, the invaders were communicating. No visual accompanied the message, only a voice, deep and resonant, speaking in perfect English. Humans of Earth, your resistance is acknowledged but unnecessary. We do not seek your extinction, merely your resource. Compliance will result in preservation of 30% of your population as a sustainable harvest source. Continued resistance will necessitate more aggressive extraction methods. The message repeated in multiple languages, broadcasting worldwide. Its clinical detachment was perhaps more terrifying than any passionate threat could have been. 30%, murmured Dr. Williams. They're offering to farm us like cattle. Belena's expression hardened. Transmit my response on all frequencies. When given clearance, she spoke clearly and calmly. This is Commander Elena Reyes of Earth's Unified Defense Command. We reject your terms. Earth belongs to humanity. You will withdraw immediately or face consequences. There was a pause before the reply came. Consequences. Your technological level presents no threat to our operations. This exchange is merely courtesy. Elena smiled thinly. Then consider this courtesy as well. We know what you're after, and we're prepared to destroy it rather than let you take it. The transmission cut off abruptly. Elena turned to her team. They'll accelerate their timeline now. We need to be ready. As the operation countdown continued, something unexpected happened. A small shuttle detached from the Galactic Council ship and approached the Antarctic base. After tense deliberations, Elena agreed to allow it to land under heavy guard. The shuttle's single occupant was unlike anything humans had imagined when they dreamed of alien contact. The being stood over 2 meters tall, with a translucent exoskeleton that pulsed with inner light. Multiple limbs moved with fluid grace, and what appeared to be its head hosted several sensory organs arranged in a pattern humans found difficult to focus on. I am Observer Thelaxin. It communicated directly into their minds. Representative of the Galactic Council. I have come to provide context. Under heavy guard in the base's conference room, Thelaxin explained the situation from the Council's perspective. The Void Collective is not a species as you understand the concept. They are a composite entity from the space between dimensions. In our explorations, we have encountered them only in legend, tales of worlds that vanished entirely. We believe them to be extinct or mythological until they appeared in your system. And what exactly does the Council plan to do about them? Elena asked directly. Philaxon's inner light pulsed slower. The Council has limited options. Direct confrontation with void technology has resulted in catastrophic losses in simulations. We are gathering data to formulate a response. While Earth is destroyed, Elena noted bitterly. Your planet's unique composition makes it exceptionally valuable, both to the collective and potentially to the greater galaxy. The zero-point energy concentration here is unprecedented. It exists elsewhere only in manufactured form, requiring vast resources to produce artificially. Dr. Williams stepped forward. We've lived with it our entire existence. It's part of us. Precisely, Philaxon agreed. Your species evolved in its presence, your consciousness, your technological development, all influenced by constant exposure to this energy. It is why the collective needs living human specimens as part of their harvest. You have incorporated the energy into your biological processes in ways we do not yet understand. Elena considered this information. So the Council fears the collective gaining access to this energy. But you're not willing to fight them directly. The Council represents 10,000 worlds, Commander. We cannot risk them all in open conflict until we understand the threat completely. Convenient, Elena said coldly. While you observe, we die. Philaxon's appendages moved in what might have been a gesture of discomfort. I am authorized to offer limited technological assistance that may enhance your defensive capabilities. But Council doctrine forbids interventions that would dramatically alter a species' developmental path. Elena laughed without humor. I think that ship has sailed, observer. Being harvested by interdimensional beings will certainly alter our development. She leaned forward. Tell me honestly, does the Council believe we have any chance of survival? Philaxon was silent for a moment. The probability is low. But the Council has noted something unusual about humans. You frequently defy probability. After the observer departed, providing technical specifications that Dr. Tanaka immediately began incorporating into their systems, Elena addressed her team. The Council is hedging its bets. They won't commit to helping us directly, but they don't want the collective to succeed either. We're on our own, with a slight technological boost that may or may not make a difference. At least we know we're on the right track, Dr. Williams pointed out. The observer confirmed our theories about the zero-point energy. Elena nodded. Operation Earth Pulse continues as planned. As the final hour approached, reports came in from around the world. Despite losses, teams had successfully installed pulse generators at 87% of the targeted locations. It would have to be enough. The Void Collective had indeed accelerated their timeline. Their ships had moved into lower orbit, positioning themselves in a geometric pattern above Earth's surface. Energy readings from their vessels were spiking. They're preparing for a major extraction, Dr. Tanaka reported. Based on these readings, they could remove up to 15% of Earth's mass in a single operation, which would kill us all, regardless of their preservation promises, Elena concluded. Initiate Earth Pulse. Across the planet, ancient sites hummed with new energy as the pulse generators activated. Stonehenge, the pyramids, Uluru, Machu Picchu, and dozens of less famous, but equally powerful locations became nodes in a planet-wide network, amplifying Earth's natural electromagnetic field. In Antarctica, Elena watched as the master control system channeled this energy, guiding it, shaping it according to the carefully calculated parameters developed by her team. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The Void Collective ships continued their ominous positioning. Then, gradually, their perfect formation began to waver. The smallest vessels started to exhibit visible distortions, their light-absorbing hulls flickering, revealing glimpses of the same organic machinery the Council had detected. It's working, Dr. Williams whispered. The electromagnetic pulse is interfering with their dimensional technology. The larger collective ships adjusted position, seemingly attempting to compensate for the disruption. One fired its dimensional weapon at the Antarctic base, but the beam distorted before reaching its target, creating a twisted space-time anomaly that collapsed in on itself. Elena activated the global communication system. All pulse generators increased to maximum output. Focus on the flagship. The massive collective vessel at the center of their formation was beginning to show signs of stress. It told rippling like water disturbed by stones. But it was fighting back, emitting counterpulses that threatened to disrupt Earth's augmented field. "They're adapting," Dr. Tanaka warned. "We can't maintain this intensity for long before our systems overload." Elena had anticipated this. Initiate Phase 2. Phase 2 was the real gamble. Using the specifications provided by Observer Thylaxin, they had modified the pulse to not just disrupt, but potentially invert the collective's dimensional technology, turning their own weapons against them. As the modified pulse surged through Earth's network, the effect on the Void Collective was immediate and dramatic. The flagship's hull didn't just distort. It began to fold inward, sections of the massive ship disappearing into rifts similar to those their weapons had created on Earth. The other ships attempted to retreat, breaking formation and moving toward open space, but Earth's augmented field had expanded beyond the atmosphere, creating a temporary barrier. On screens throughout the base, they watched as void ships began to collapse in on themselves, their dimensional technology backfiring catastrophically. Some vanished entirely, while others fragmented, pieces of their hulls scattering into Earth's orbit. The Galactic Council vessels maintained a safe distance, observing the battle without intervening. Elena noted their positions with a mixture of resentment and understanding. They were protecting themselves while gathering precious intelligence. As the last Void Collective ship destabilized, Earth's electromagnetics began to falter. The pulse generators, never designed for sustained operation at such intensity, were failing worldwide. "We've done all we can," Elena told her team as the Antarctic generator began to smoke. "Shut it down before we damage Earth's natural field." As the system powered down, an eerie silence fell over the command center. On the monitors, debris from the Void Collective ships drifted in Earth's orbit, along with strange energy signatures that the sensors couldn't properly identify. "Did we win?" Lieutenant Chen asked quietly. Before Elena could respond, the communication system activated once more. Observer Thylaxin's mental voice filled the room. "The Galactic Council acknowledges humanity's successful defense against the Void Collective. This outcome was unanticipated. A formal delegation will arrive within your lunar orbit within one planetary rotation to discuss implications and future relations." When the transmission ended, Dr. Williams looked at Elena. "Future relations. Are we joining this Galactic Council now?" Elena stared at the monitor showing the scattered remains of the invasion fleet. "No, I think we just showed them that we don't need to." In the days that followed, humanity began the process of rebuilding. The areas affected by the Void Collective's weapons remained dimensional voids, perfect circles of nothingness that scientists were only beginning to understand. The debris from the alien ships provided technological insights that promised to advance human development by centuries. When the Council delegation arrived, an impressive flotilla of vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had built, they came not with demands but with proposals. The defeat of the Void Collective had fundamentally altered humanity's status in galactic affairs. Observer Thylaxin, now designated Ambassador Thylaxin, presented the Council's official position to the United Earth government. "Humanity has demonstrated capabilities that qualify for immediate consideration of protected species status within Council territories. Further, Earth's unique properties and humanity's demonstrated ability to harness them constitute a sovereign resource designation." President Okafor looked to Elena, standing at attention nearby. For translation, "They're saying they won't try to take our zero-point energy by force," Elena explained. "And they'll help keep others from trying the same." "At what cost?" the president asked shrewdly. Ambassador Thylaxin's inner light pulsed rapidly. "Exchange of knowledge, regulated trade of certain resources, and limited human representation within Council deliberations." Elena stepped forward. "And what's to stop another Void Collective from coming for Earth in the future?" The ambassador's response held what might have been a note of respect, the knowledge that humanity defeated the first one. As Earth entered this new era, Alina Reyes found herself appointed as humanity's first representative to the Galactic Council. Standing on the observation deck of the UES Horizon, repaired and expanded with new technology, she gazed at the stars with different eyes than before. They were no longer just distant lights of possibility. They were places with names, civilizations, histories, and now, a healthy respect for the tenacity of Earth and its people. Humanity had been thrust onto the galactic stage in the most violent way imaginable, but they had not merely survived. They had announced their presence with undeniable force. The galaxy had watched in fear as Earth was besieged, but now they watched with something new. They watched with caution, for humanity had proven that even the unknown darkness between dimensions should think twice before threatening Earth.